Hello and welcome back to the only episode of the day today from Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in this episode, scorers and results from the NRL Saturday games in round 24 2022, and Warrington releases have been announced, including the club captain. Even though there's only one episode today and I love rugby league, it can be a bit too much sometimes. A lot of things going on in the rugby league world, and we're getting to the nut cutting time of the season. So of course it's going to be intense and I've got to up my game, but every now and again you've got to take those breaks. So this is an episode that will be as usual, it's full of news, but it will be a kind of relief that I get about 12 hours to myself. Anyway, let's get on with the full episode. So we head to the NRL first of all in the episode, as Canberra Raiders versus Manly Seagulls is first on the block. And Canberra's gutsy comeback win in Newcastle means their final hopes are well and truly alive, heading into a clash with a Manly team down on troops and confidence. The Raiders have won 5 of their past 6 to climb to 11th, from 11th to 9th on the ladder. Their only defeat came to the hands of the minor premiers Penrith in round 21. In stark contrast though, the Seagulls have lost 5 on the trot to slide out of finals contention, and they face 2 away games to round out what has been a tough season for last year's preliminary finalists. With Jake Trbojevic, Ruben Garrick, Jason Saab joining a long casualty list, Manly have to dig very deep if they are to stave off a Raiders side with a sniff of the finals in their nostrils and a vocal home crowd behind them. With Ricky Stewart back in the fold, he names Albert Harpawate to take the place of Nick Kotrick on the wing 24 hours from kickoff, and there were no further changes for the Green Machine. Canberras can move into the top 8 for the first time since round 3 this year with the win over Manly. Plenty of late changes for the Seagulls. Morgan Harper is out, which means Ben Trbojevic, who was originally promoted from the bench to replace Andrew Davey in the second row, moves to the centres. Martin Tapau and Kurt DeLewis are the starting props, with Josh Alawai moving to lock in favour of Dylan Walker. He reverts to the bench. Ethan Bullimore starts in the second row, with KO Weeks, the new face, on the bench. And it's the Raiders who get back into the top 8 with a 48 points to 6 victory over a depleted Manly side. Jordan Rapana scored on the 5th minute before Xavier Savage got on the scoreboard after a length of the field supporting run. Hudson Young scored on the 21st minute before Tom Starling, sporting the Dane Cook look, scored on the 25th minute. Jamal Fogarty scored on the 28th minute as the Raiders rampaged through half-time to 28 points to 0. In the second half, it was much of the same. Hudson Young got his second of the day before Albert Harpawate scored on the 66th minute. It was Ethan Bullimore that got over the try line for the Manly Seagulls on the 62nd minute, with Albert Harpawate responding for the Raiders once more, with Sebastian Chris getting on the try scoring sheet, before Corey Harawara Nara got on the end of a flowing move for the Raiders to score in the corner and close out the try scoring. Jamal Fogarty kicked 6 goals from 9 conversion attempts, while Daly Cherry Evans converted his only attempt at goal. So before we go into Game 2 of the NRL, Warrington Wolves have confirmed the departure of 6 first-team players at the end of the 2022 campaign. Captain Jack Hughes will leave the club alongside Gareth Widdop, Matt Davis on the top right, and Jason Clark and Rob Mulhern, as soon as their current contracts expire. Hughes himself captained the side to Challenge Cup glory in 2019, famously filling in at standoff to win over St Helens at Wembley Stadium, and has gone on to make 169 appearances for the club in well, since joining in 2016. He's been sidelined for the last 4 months after undergoing an operation on a shoulder injury, but could feature in the club's final 3 games of the campaign, which he didn't last night. Widdop has been involved with Warrington 49 times, scoring 20 tries during a 3-year spell at the club, and has won the Ken Kelly Player of the Year accolade following an impressive season in 2021. He's been sidelined recently in recent weeks with a shoulder injury of his own, but could return before the end of the season. The 26-year-old Davis has made 62 appearances across 4 seasons in the Primrose and Blue, having joined London Broncos back in 2019. He was part of the Challenge Cup winning side in the same year as Jack Hughes. It was confirmed that Jason Clark back in June will join French club Le Mans Grizzlies and is expected to join up with a new teammates at the start of the new season next month. He leaves the club with 82 appearances under his belt and also a Challenge Cup winner back in 2019. He's expected to join as a player coach for the Grizzlies, and it'll be an interesting journey in France. Mulhern is expected to leave Warrington at the end of the year, but he was offered a deal to remain at Warrington Wolves for the next season, Daryl Powell has confirmed. The Wire head coach has praised the displays of the prop, who was one of the players confirmed to be leaving. Amid a season of change, Mulhern has been a mainstay in the side, making 19 starts throughout 2022. With his contract coming to an end, however, he will be moving on and has been heavily linked with Lee Centurions. Rob was one we made an offer to, but it ended up not quite working out for him in terms of what we offered, and we moved on, Powell said. Rob's been really good, and one thing I'd say is that he's been a class fella all the way through. The way he's behaved hasn't deviated and has been outstanding, so I pay tribute to him for all the way he has handled himself. He's actually played some bit of his best rugby this season. He's playing his best rugby of the season at the moment. He was really good last week, and his meters have gone through the roof. He hasn't been as consistent as we would have liked, but I do think he's been really good this year. Clearly rated at Warrington and by the staff over there, so to see him go is kind of a disappointment, I would say, for the Warrington fans. He will be part of the way that Warrington will express their gratitude to the departing players for their efforts during their time at the club and wish them well for all their futures in the game, and probably by a lap of honour like Wakefield did previously. There was only one other player that will be leaving the club at this moment in time with Warrington, and that was Carl Amor. He was on loan from St Helens, but he is going to witness Vikings, as we mentioned in a previous episode. We come back to the NRL now with the Cronulla Sharks facing the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, and the Sharks are rolling towards September full of confidence, while they're looking to score another big points haul against the Bulldogs in round 24. The well-oiled Cronulla machine has piled on 100 points in their past 3 weeks, and with Nico Hines' superb touch, there's no reason to think their for and against won't be getting a big boost in the final 2 rounds also. The Bulldogs have shown some good signs since Mick Potter took over in round 11, but in the past 3 weeks they have conceded 112 points and have limped towards the finishing line. When the two sides met in round 16, it was the Sharks who prevailed 18 points to 6 in atrocious conditions at the Combank Stadium. So for the team news, the Sharks named Kyle Iro to make his NRL debut on the wing, when Cameron McInnes will start after Dale Finucane and Matt Ikivalu dropped out on Friday. The new man on the bench is Braden Trindle. Powerhouse centre Sifa Teleke is back from a shoulder injury, but Connor Tracy is out after suffering a second concussion of the season against Manly. Teague Wilton returns to the bench after missing round 23 due to illness. And for the Bulldogs, with Luke Thompson out after the club reported on Thursday he tested positive for COVID, Joe Stimson starts at lock. Joshua Suckley comes onto the bench for his NRL debut. Josh Jackson has been moved from the second slot to second row, while Tavita Pangai Jr. has been dropped completely. Chris Patolo is the new man on the bench. In this tight affair, it was the Sharks that won 16 points to nil in a mistake-issued game. A couple of penalties, but nothing to write home about, really. Britton Nikora scored on the 17th minute with Nico Hines converting, before Ronaldo Mulitalo scored his first try on the 21st minute for a 10-0 half-time scoreline, before Mulitalo scored once again on the 65th minute. Hines scored the conversion, and that was it all for this game. And for this final segment, it's NRL once again, as the third game comes to us with the South Sydney Rabbitohs facing North Queensland Cowboys. With the finals just a fortnight away, the Rabbitohs and the Cowboys put their premiership credentials on the line in a mouth-watering showdown at Accor Stadium. Both sides will have design on being at the venue in October the 2nd for the big dance, but the first order of business for the Bunnies is to cement a place in the top 8, after a loss to Penrith left them vulnerable to a late charging Raiders. The Rabbitohs have a tough finish against the Cowboys and Roosters, but they showed in their wins against the Storm during round 19 and the Eels during 22. Their best is certainly good enough to rattle some cages in September. The Cowboys have enjoyed a stunning renaissance under Todd Payton in 2022. And could put an exclamation mark on a brilliant season by beating last year's grand finalists in the last 2 rounds. So here are the 2 teams. Jason Dimitri's Rabbitohs have Tongan international Saliva Havili starting at hook after Damien Cook was ruled out due to COVID protocols. Michael Che-Kam is the new bench player. Winger Isaac Thompson has also been ruled out with an hamstring injury and was replaced by Tane Milne. Bench forward Tom Burgess returns after 3 games out with a groin injury, so Hame Sella moves into the starting side, with Daniel Saluka Fafita dropping out. Cody Nikorima also returns from a hamstring injury on the bench. Greece hooker Peter Mamazoulias is the 18th man. For the Cowboys, Todd Payton has dropped Drinkwater moving to the 5'8" position to replace Tom Dearden, who had surgery to repair a ruptured testicle suffered against the Warriors. Hamisu Tabuai-Fidau is the new fullback, and Tom Gilbert joins the bench. Ruben Cotter moves to the interchange bench in a late swap with Cohen Hess, while Jake Granville was named in the final 17, with Griffin Neame dropping out to the 18th man. And it was the Rabbitohs who passed the test as they won 20 points to 10. The game got up and running after Latrell Mitchell kicked over a penalty on the 5th minute, before the Cowboys responded through Murutalagi's try on the 9th. Keon Kolomatagi scored on the 17th minute, before Alex Johnson got his regulation try on the 30th minute. 2 conversions in the half for the informed Mitchell and 1 for Valentine Holmes saw the scoreline 14 points to 6 at half time. But there was only 1 try apiece in the second half. Carl Feltz scored on the 68th minute. That was before Cohen Hess was sin-binned and put on report on the 73rd minute, and Carl Feltz was sent to the sin bin on the 76th minute after he'd given away a penalty for an escort. Thomas Burgess put the seal on the win on the 78th minute as he barged over for Latrell Mitchell to add the final points in this 20 points to 10 game. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking on that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's episode in the comment section below. There's a lot to go through, the 3 NRL games and also Warrington's departures. We also have more news of departures coming out of other Super League clubs, and we'll bring you them in due course. Tomorrow being one of the clubs, so to speak. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. The comment section is open. Tell me what your thoughts are on the Warrington departures. Do you think some of those could have been fitted into Daryl Powell's ideas, or do you think it was time for them to move on? Anyway, I'll end the episode now with a bit of a rest from me by saying I wish you all the best, so please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode.